Coco Gauff had just lifted the French Open trophy, believing she had experienced the defining moment of her life. But nothing could have prepared her for what came next. Out of nowhere, Italian billionaire Giovanni Moretti reached out with an unexpected proposal, one so overwhelming that it left her in tears in front of her entire team. What he offered her parents wasn't simply generous. It was the kind of life-changing opportunity that goes far beyond any Grand Slam title she could ever win.
But she found a way. She's giving her mother a hug, her mom, who was praying on TV, then her dad, Corey.
Have you ever experienced a moment when someone's kindness completely overwhelmed you? Share your story in the comments. Now, let's talk about what just happened, because this feels like one of those rare moments where real life sounds stranger than fiction. Coco Gauff had just captured the French Open, one of the biggest prizes in tennis and the dream most players spend a lifetime chasing. She stood there holding the trophy at Roland Garros, completing her media duties, soaking in the victory, and finally putting the heartbreak of Wimbledon championships behind her. Everything felt perfect. Her career was soaring. Life was good. Then her manager rushed into the room looking shaken and told her she had to take a call immediately. On the other end was Italian billionaire Giovanni Moretti, a man known for owning private islands, running global business ventures, and quietly supporting the sport he loves. This wasn't someone chasing attention. He had followed Coco's journey for years. He admired her game, yes, but even more than that, he admired her character, her resilience, and the tight-knit family that helped build her foundation. He skipped the usual pleasantries. Instead, he asked one simple question. How is your family? That question changed everything. Because behind every champion is a support system that's sacrificed in silence. Coco's parents, Coco Gauff and Candy Gauff, spent years juggling responsibilities, stretching finances, and putting their daughter's dream ahead of their own comfort. Coco answered politely, "They're doing okay." But Moretti wasn't asking casually. He told her he wanted to offer her parents official roles in his company as personal development consultants. They would travel alongside her, contribute to sports initiatives he was building, and remain deeply involved in her journey. Then he revealed the figure, $200,000 per month. Each. Time seemed to freeze. Coco couldn't speak. Her throat tightened. Tears instantly filled her eyes. This wasn't about titles or rankings anymore. It wasn't about sponsorships or prize money. It was about her parents never having to struggle again. About sacrifices finally being acknowledged in a tangible, life-altering way. She covered her mouth, trying to steady herself, barely whispering that she didn't know what to say. Moretti replied gently. She didn't have to say anything. She had already given joy to millions through her tennis. Now, he simply wanted to give something back. And that's when she broke down completely. Not from sadness, not from pressure, but from relief, gratitude, and the overwhelming realization that the people who gave her everything were finally being given something in return.
Today was the first time I've ever seen my dad cry. He doesn't want me to tell you all that, but he got caught in 4K. He thinks he's so hard, but it's not. So thank you guys. I mean, you believed in me from the beginning. I've been coming to this tournament. My dad took me to this tournament, sitting right there watching Venus and Serena compete. So it's really incredible to be on this stage.
Growing up, there wasn't too many just black tennis players dominating the sport. It was literally, at that time when I was younger, it was just them that I can remember. And obviously more came because of their legacy, so it made the dream more believable. But all the things that they had to go through, they made it easier for someone.
To truly understand why that moment broke her, you have to understand what her parents endured long before the trophies and spotlight. Coco Gauff may now be associated with sold-out stadiums and Grand Slam glory, but the road to that stage was anything but glamorous. Fans see the endorsements, the celebrity supporters, the magazine covers, the roar of the crowd at French Open. What they don't see are the years of quiet sacrifice that made it possible. Her father, Coco Gauff, and her mother, Coco Gauff, did whatever it took to keep the dream alive. Waiting tables, housekeeping, coaching whenever they could find paying clients, stretching every dollar to cover travel costs, tournament entry fees, equipment, and training. There were times they skipped meals so their daughter could eat properly before a match. Months when bills stacked up and paychecks disappeared the moment they arrived. Junior tennis isn't cheap. Flights, hotels, coaching, nutrition, and they carried that weight quietly, never letting her feel the full pressure of it. Even after Coco became a household name and began earning significant prize money, her parents kept working regular jobs. Not because they had to, but because of pride, because of humility, because after a lifetime of labor, you don't just flip a switch and stop. Coco has said in interviews that her parents are the hardest working people she knows. And when she says it, you can hear it, the gratitude, the respect, the awareness of everything they gave up. So when someone offered a future where they would never have to struggle again, it wasn't just a generous gesture. It was validation for years of sacrifice that the world never saw.
And Candy, Corey, congrats. We saw you closing your eyes for some of this match. When your daughter steps up to that line, serve for her second major, where are your thoughts going?
First, get your serve in and make sure that you stay under control, and that as long as you have another point, you have another chance. And just don't get upset if someone makes a shot. So it's like, you have another point, so let's go out and play. Yeah.
I'm not going to ask where your thoughts were going. I'm going to ask where you were going. You don't watch it from out there. Where were you? How'd you experience this?
I kind of move around behind the scenes. I try to find a quiet corner and look at it on my iPad, and then I make notes. And sometimes I'm texting her and texting the coaches if I see something I think they can't see.
That pressure became part of her identity. For Coco Gauff, watching her parents struggle wasn't just background noise, it was fuel. Every early morning training session, every extra rep, every moment she pushed through exhaustion carried the silent image of their sacrifice. When she suffered that crushing loss at Wimbledon Championships, the disappointment hit hard. But what hurt even more was the thought of letting her family down. She told herself their sacrifices couldn't be for nothing. That mindset, equal parts pressure and purpose, carried her all the way to the title at the French Open. She wasn't just playing for rankings or trophies. She was playing for the two people who had given up everything, so she could stand on that stage. So when Giovanni Moretti made his offer, it wasn't just about numbers. It was about release. Years of financial stress. Years of stretching paychecks. Years of holding everything together through sheer willpower. All of it came rushing back in a single moment. Her team watched her sob during that call and understood this wasn't business. It was deeply personal. This was a daughter's dream of taking care of her parents unfolding in real time. When she walked into the next room to tell them, her eyes were red, her hands trembling. They assumed she was overwhelmed by media duties or the emotion of winning a Grand Slam. Instead, she fell into their arms and whispered that they didn't have to work anymore, that someone wanted to take care of them. Her mother started crying first. Her father, normally calm and steady, slowly sat down in stunned silence. It wasn't about the dollar figure, but the figure was staggering. $200,000 per month each. $400,000 combined every month. Nearly $4. $8 million per year. For parents who once worked multiple jobs just to cover travel costs for junior tournaments, that level of security is transformative. No more bill anxiety. No more skipped meals. No more wondering how the next trip would be funded. That burden disappeared overnight. And beyond the financial freedom came something even bigger, emotional freedom. After Wimbledon, Coco admitted that expectations had weighed on her. Some of that pressure was external, but a large part of it was internal. She felt responsible. She felt she owed her success to the people who sacrificed everything. Now that specific weight is gone. Her coach described the shift perfectly. Before, she played like someone trying to change her family's life. Now she plays like someone who already has. That difference matters. Athletes who compete from desperation burn out. Athletes who compete from joy endure. Without the lingering pressure of, I have to fix everything, Coco can simply play the game she loves. And when she said she feels unstoppable, now it wasn't arrogance. It was relief, real confidence, the kind that comes when one of the heaviest burdens in your life has been lifted. She's just 20 years old. She's already won multiple majors. Her family is secure. Her future is wide open. For the first time, she's not chasing success to save her family. She's chasing it because this story goes far beyond tennis. At its core, it's about sacrifice, about parents who give up comfort, stability, and sometimes their own dreams so their children can chase something bigger. How many athletes have families who mortgage their futures for a shot at opportunity? How many parents worked double shifts, skipped vacations, and carried silent stress just hoping it would all be worth it someday? Coco Gauff's journey stands out because everything changed with one phone call. But the deeper theme is universal. Parents sacrifice. Children feel that weight, whether they say it out loud or not. The timing made it even more powerful. She had just won the French Open, one of the highest achievements in the sport. And within hours, she learned her parents would never have to struggle again. 2 life-altering moments, back to back. No wonder the emotions overwhelmed her. It wasn't one breakthrough, it was 2. Giovanni Moretti also deserves recognition for how he handled it. He could have turned it into a publicity spectacle, a press conference, headlines, cameras. Instead, he made a private call and approached the situation with discretion. The story only became public later because Coco chose to share it. That detail matters. It suggests intention rooted in impact, not ego. The roles he created for her parents weren't framed as charity either. By offering Corey and Candy Gauff formal positions as personal development consultants, he ensured they could contribute meaningfully. They aren't simply stepping away from work, they're transitioning into new roles that align with their experience and values. That psychological distinction is huge. Dignity remains intact. Purpose remains intact. They're not being handed something, they're being recognized. And this changes everything for Coco moving forward. She no longer competes with the urgency of someone trying to rescue her family from financial pressure. She can make career decisions based on performance, longevity, and health rather than obligation. She doesn't have to chase every appearance fee or endorsement. She can rest when needed. Train strategically. Think long-term. Athletes who compete from fear often burn out. Athletes who compete from freedom often flourish. Her French Open victory was extraordinary, but the security her family now has may end up shaping her career even more than that trophy. This is what happens when generosity meets real sacrifice. And that combination creates something bigger than sport, something deeply human. If you care about the real stories behind the headlines, the moments that remind us why sports matter beyond wins and losses, stay tuned.
Quite understandably, I see your emotional tears in your eyes still. What did today represent?
It represents, like Coco alluded to before, that sometimes when you have a loss and you get down on yourself, but learning that you can pick up, the sun will rise the next day, and just keep working at your craft. If this is your passion, you got to give it your all. What Coco did today was amazing. She never gave up. She fought to the end, and she gave herself the opportunity to hold up the trophy.